Yeah. So from chapter 5 onwards, Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 describes about the process of creation, wherein Karmadaksha Vishnu, by glancing upon Mahamaya or Prakriti or Pradhana, creates 24 material elements. Then the presiding deities of those 24 elements, they offer prayers to Lord Vishnu, requesting him to engage them in his service. So then, in order to facilitate their service, Karmadakshaya Vishnu enters into all those 24 elements as the cohesive energy by which all the 24 elements come together, they form, they mix, and then they form unlimited Brahmandas. Brahmanda means empty universal shell. It is also called as Hiranyanda. Hiranyanda means empty golden shell. It appears to be golden in color, that's why it is called as empty golden shell. So, like that, millions of empty golden shells or empty Brahmandas were floating in the Karna ocean, where Karnadaksha Vishnu also lies down. So, in order to make all these universes alive, that Karnadaksha Vishnu expands himself as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and he enters into the universe. Has he entered into the universe? In order to start the creation, he kind of creates the universal form. The universal form has got various components such as Atma Shakti, all the variety of living entities known as the Devatas, human beings, and Asuras, and also, sorry, they are called Deva Shakti. Deva Shakti indicates all the different variety of living entities, and the second one is Atma Shakti, indicates Adi Bhuta, Adhyatma, and Adi Daiva, the manifestation of the different functions of different senses. So we have five Jnanendriyas and five Karmendriyas and four subtle sense organs: mind, intelligence, Ahankara, and Chetana. So these 14 senses have particular function to perform. So their activities are unsupervised, are governed by different devatas, those devatas who actually offered prayers for some service. So by creating these senses and their respective activities, the Supreme Lord created active functions or services for these 14 devatas. 5 devatas for 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 devatas for 5 Karmendriyas, and 5 devatas for 5 four devatas for 4 antakarnas or subtle sense organs, I mean internal senses. So then the third component of universal form was Karma Shakti. Karma Shakti is basically the activity by which the living entities are sustained. So, in relation to human beings, the four Varnas have been described: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and their respective activities by which they are survived, they are maintained, etc. So, then that Garbhodaksha Vishnu, in order to manifest the living entities, and he glances within his abdomen, because during the entire night of Brahma, all the living entities have entered into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Now, in order to facilitate their activities, first all the 24 elements come out as a lotus, beautiful lotus bird. Then that Garbhodaksha Vishnu, in order to make that lotus bird into active, a place for action, he expands himself as Kshudaksha Vishnu and enters into that lotus as its Paramatma. As soon as he enters into that lotus as its Paramatma, Lord Brahma, the first living entity in the entire universe, appears on top of the lotus. Then that Brahma uh, endeavors to understand who is he, from where he was born, and he saw the lotus coming out of the water. He wanted to understand from where this lotus is coming. In spite of there is huge turbulent wind and the water is agitated too much, but still the lotus is stable. There must be something at the base. He tried to understand the base of the lotus. He endeavored for 100 years, nothing happened. He came up and then he performed tapasya for 100 years. Then he had the darshan of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, first within his own heart, then outside of his heart, in front of his eyes. Then after having the beautiful darshan of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, He offers wonderful prayers of Lord's glorification. Then he also seeks empowerment and protection from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then, being empowered by Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Lord Brahma again performs tapasya for 1000 celestial years. And with that tapasya, he understands what to do and he also understands how to do. So that is when Lord Brahma starts his creation. So some portion of Lord Brahma's creation was already mentioned in the 10th chapter, and from there on the discussion is going to continue. So in the middle, during the 10th chapter, Vidura asks a question about, can you please tell about time? So he briefly explains about time in the 10th chapter, then he elaborately explains about the time in the 11th chapter. So in order to explain time, first he explains about a parameter based on which the time can be explained. The parameter was about is nothing but the matter. So he tells that Paramanu is the least divisible particle, or the minutest indivisible particle is called as Paramanu. And this entire universe is made up of such kind of Paramanus. And when we combine all the Paramanus, the aggregate of the entire Paramanus, or the aggregate of all the Paramanus, or aggregate of the entire universe is called Paramamahan. That means great matter. So these two kinds of matter, the smallest matter and the biggest matter, have been defined. So in relation to the smallest matter and biggest matter, the time is explained. It says that for the sun to pass through the width of a Paramanu, that time is called Paramanu time. And for the sun to pass through the entire matter, that is called Paramahan time. Paramanu time is like one of the few microseconds or something like that. And Paramahan time is nothing but it is 100 years of Lord Brahma. The minimum time is few microseconds. The maximum time is 100 years of Lord Brahma. So then in between the various divisions are also further described. Like 2 Paramanus combined together is called 1 Anu. 3 Anus combined together is called 1 Trasarenu. And time required to pass through 3 Trasrenus is called 1 Truti. Like that, Lava, Veda, like that various things will go on. Like that it is said that in one day there are 8 Praharas. 1 Prahara is equal to 3 hours, or 1, it is also called as 1 Yama. 1 Prahara or 1 Yama is equal to 3 hours. In a complete day there are 8 Praharas or 8 Yamas. During the daytime there are 4, during the night time there are 4. Like that. So 15 days are called 1 Paksha. In a month there are 2 Pakshas, Krishna Paksha and Shukla Paksha. They are day and night for the Pitrus who are living in the moon. And then 2 months is called 1 Rutu, 1 season. 6 months are called 1 Ayana. January to July is called Uttarayana. July to January is called Dakshinayana. The same 6 months will take for the Devatas to have their daytime and nighttime. From April to October, it is daytime for the Devatas. And October to April, it is nighttime for the Devatas. So like that, 6 months is their daytime and another 6 months of hours is their nighttime. So our 1 year is equal to their 1 day. Like that, as we proceed further, there are yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. So if the Devatas 1 day is equal to our 1 year, and Devatas 1 year is equal to our 360 years. So one Satya Yuga is equal to 44,800 Devata years, and Treta Yuga is equal to 3,600 Devata years. Dwapara Yuga is equal to 2,400 Devata years, and Kali Yuga is equal to 1,200 Devata years. Basically, Kali Yuga is 1200, Dwapara Yuga is 2 times to that, 2400, Treta Yuga is 3 times to Kali Yuga, that is 3600, Satya Yuga is 4 times to the Kali Yuga, that is 4800. So when we add all the 4, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, that is equal to 10, that is 10 times Kali Yuga time. If Kali Yuga time is equal to 1200 Devata years, then 1 Divya Yuga or 1 Chatur Yuga, the combination of all the 4 yugas will be 12,000 Devata years. 1200 plus 2400 plus 3600 plus 4800, like the 12,000 Devata years. So that is being that is the time period of one Chaturyuga. Or in terms of our years, one Kali Yuga is equal to 4,32,000 years, and one Chaturyuga is equal to 43,20,000 years. So in that way. So like that, 71 Chaturyugas combined together is called one Manvantara. Like that, in a day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. 14 times 71 Chaturyugas. But one Manvantara to another Manvantara, there is small Sandhi is there. That Sandhi is equal to one Satyayuga time period. Like that, combining together 14 times 71 plus 15 times Sandhi, it becomes total 1000 Chaturyugas. 14 times 71, that is equal to 996 or 994, and 15 Sandhis equal to one Satyayuga. That will be another 6 Chaturyugas, and total will be 1000 Chaturyugas. So 1000 Chaturyugas is the daytime of Brahma, and equal amount of night time is there for Brahma. So like that, 2000 Chaturyugas is equal to the one complete day of Brahma. Like that, Brahma will have 30 days in a month, 12 months in a year, and he lives for 100 such years, out of which Brahmaji already completed 50 years. Now the 51st year, first month, first day, it is going on. So the very first day of his month is generally called as Varaha Kalpa, and during the current day, at the very beginning of the day of Brahma, Lord Varaha appeared in white color. That's why the current day is called as Shweta Varaha Kalpa. Kalpa means the day of Brahma. And the current day, Lord Brahma also appeared from the top of a lotus flower. So since he appeared from a lotus flower, in Sanskrit lotus flower is called as Padma. That's why the current day is also called as Padma Kalpa. So these are the various discussions that are mentioned in the previous chapter. And then finally, in order to conclude, it says that so this 100 years of lifetime of Brahma is equal to one Kshana in comparison to Mahavishnu. One Kshana means opening and closing the eyes. The time required from the opening to the closing of the eyes or eyelids is called one Kshana. Just open and close it. Or the time from exhalation to the inhalation of Mahavishnu. That is one Kshana. That is 100 years of Lord Brahma's lifespan. And then at the end of the last chapter, it is mentioned that so like this, there are unlimited universes, and all those universes along with their 7 layers of coverings, they all appears to be like Paramanus in comparison to Karnadaksha Vishnu. They are all seems to be situated in the skin pores of Karnadaksha Vishnu. So this chapter indicates that in relation to Mahavishnu, the lifespan of Brahma of 100 years is equal to one breathing time period or time required for Mahavishnu to open his eyelid and close. And the size of our gigantic universe is like a Paramanu in comparison to Mahavishnu. So we understand the greatness of Mahavishnu, the greatness of the Supreme Lord Mahavishnu, that is being indicated. So that was being the 11th chapter. Now we'll start with the 12th chapter, wherein the creation of the Kumaras and others that has been created by Lord Brahma is described. So the first verse is like summary of the previous discussion, whatever being discussed in the previous chapters. Maitreya says, Maitreya uvacha yatite varnitakshatta kalakya paramatmana mahima veda garbhota yata srakshin nibodame. It says that yatite varnitakshatta kalakya paramatmana mahima. The greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is also called as Paramatma, has been explained by describing the divisions and subdivisions of time in the previous chapter. Even the description of the time divisions ultimately indicates the greatness of the Supreme Personality of God. Having mentioned that in the previous chapter, now in the current chapter, where we are going to discuss Veda Garbhota Yathas Rikshin Nibodame. Now I am going to speak about the creation by Brahma, whose another name is Veda Garbha. So that is going to be described in this chapter. Veda Garbha means Lord Brahma, the reservoir of the Vedas. So Lord Brahma is the Garbha for the Vedas. The Vedas will take birth from Brahma. That is also another meaning of Veda Garbha. Or Veda Garbha means Lord Brahma is a personality made up of Vedas, Vedic knowledge. So in that way, various understandings are there. So now in this chapter, the creation by Brahma, the further creation by Brahma is going to be mentioned. So the second verse. Tasarjagre andatamishram atatamishramadikrit mahamoham cha moham cha tamaschajnana vrittaya. So before discussing this verse, let's we kind of summarize the previous discussion. In the sense, it is summary only. So here we are going to discuss today the creation of Brahma. So whatever Lord Brahma had created, everything is there in this image. Later on, at the end of the chapter, we will see this picture again. That time we will discuss what all we have discussed today. So this is Brahma's creation. So from the previous chapters, there is one interesting information is given in chapter 5. So that will act as a thread for our further discussion. So wherein it is said that, so Lord's energy known as Maya Shakti, which is also called as Prakriti and Pradhana, has three conditions, are Maya Shakti has three components. The first one is called Pradhana, or it is also called as Guna Maya. That Maya, which is made up of three modes of material natures, it is called as Pradhana or Prakriti. So from this Pradhana, by glancing upon Pradhana, Mahavishnu creates the 24 elements, starting from Mahatattva all the way up to earth. So the 24 elements were Mahatattva, Ahankara, mind, intelligence, the four elements, subtle elements, and then 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Panchamahabhutas, and 5 sense objects. The 5 qualities of the 5 Panchamahabhutas. So 20 plus 4, 24 elements in that way. These, the creation of these 24 elements is the real creation. They are not imaginary. As Mayavadis say that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. This entire material universe is made up of these 24 elements. Earth, water, fire, earth and other elements. And when they say Jagan Mithya, that means everything that is in the material world is illusory. It is not like that. These 24 elements are real. They are not illusory. The aggregate and the individual bodies of the jivas with grass and turtle bodies are created by the combination of these 24 elements. By combining these 24 elements only, Mahavishnu created all the Brahmandas. And by these 24 elements only, the lotus flower appeared. And Lord Brahma, after being empowered by Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he divided that lotus flower into 14 planetary systems. All the 14 planetary systems are also made up of these 24 elements only. And all our bodies, the human body, animal body, Devata body, plant body, etc., they are also made by 24 elements. The Samishti refers to the entire Brahmanda and also the 14 planetary systems. And Veshti refers to our individual physical bodies. So they are all also made by these 24 elements. So this is the first component of Maya Shakti. The second component of Maya Shakti is called as Avidya Shakti. Avidya Shakti is a subtle creation of Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu, which is meant to bewilder the jiva by covering their consciousness with 5 types of ignorances. They are known as Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. It is because of these 5 coverings upon our Atma or upon our consciousness, we actually forget who we really are. We really are Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, as Lord Krishna speaks about this in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Like, we are all eternal fragmental particles of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that we forget. Instead, we identify ourselves as I am a human being, I am male, I am female, I am boy, I am mother, father, wife, husband, like that. All these identities we get because of our forgetfulness of our original identity. So these two things will happen because of this avidya, because of these 5 coverings of avidya shakti of maya shakti, and these are not real because these 5 coverings do not exist along with atma in the spiritual world. Even in the material world also, when a living entity is liberated, Jivan Mukta platform, when they come, they are not at all touched by these 5 layers. In that way, they are not real. And the world composed of both real, the 24 material elements, and unreal, 5 coverings of avidya, is produced by pradhana and avidya. The 24 elements which are real are created by pradhana, and 5 coverings of ignorance are produced by avidya. So because of these 5 coverings of avidya, we are bound in this material world. We actually go through the process of transmigration. Currently we are human beings, and next life we may be something else, and next life we may be something else. Like that, we will continue our life in this material world. But it is only when we take shelter of vidya, which is actually the third component of Maya Shakti, which will actually destroy the 5 coverings of avidya. So then we really understand who we really are, what is our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and where we are supposed to live, and how we can go back to our eternal home. So what is Vidya? Vidya indicates Nishkama Karma, Jnana, Ashtanga Yoga, Tapasya, Vairagya, and Bhakti. So these are all part of Vidya. These are 6 components of Vidya. So from Pradhana comes 24 material elements, and by their combination comes the gigantic universal shells, the gigantic Brahmandas, and by their combination only comes the lotus flower, from which there appears the 14 planetary systems. That is all the manifestation of Pradhana. And even from the Pradhana only, from the 24 elements only, all our bodies have been created. The body of human being, the body of animal, the body of Devata, the body of plant, etc. etc. But our identity with the body is given by avidya. That identity can be dismantled by vidya. So by pradhana, so the pradhana has been explained in terms of 5 stages of creation. The creation of Mahatattva, the creation of false ego, the creation of 5 gross elements and 5 tanmatras, creation of 5 knowledge and 5 action senses. So then creation of mind and the sense devatas. All these 24 elements are produced by Lord's Maya Shakti. 5, 5, 5, 5, 20, and mind 21, and also there is intelligence in this. Intelligence and false ego and Mahatattva, like the 24 elements, they are produced by Pradhana. And the 6th creation, the creation of ignorance, it is to bewilder the jiva. There are 5 layers of ignorances produced by Lord's Maya Shakti. The component of Lord's Maya Shakti known as avidya. So, having stated that, so how avidya makes us forget our original identity and gives us a different identity has been stated in the current verse, what we are discussing now. 3rd canto, 12th chapter, 2nd verse. Sasarjagre anda tamishram adatamisram adikrit mahamoham cha moham cha tamasjajnana vrittaye. So in one sense, these creations are the creation of Lord Vishnu, either Garbhodakshaya Vishnu or Karmadakshaya Vishnu, wherever it is. And from this on, the creation of Brahma begins. So it says that Though the Supreme Lord himself creates the 5 coverings of avidya, but they are in subtle state. And Lord Brahma actually uses them. They put them into action, put them into some service. Thus, Brahma first produced the functions of ignorance. Why he used all these 5 layers of ignorance or avidya shakti? In creating the yakshas, rakshasas, devatas, and humans, false identity must arise in the jivas, and true identity they should forget. All these different variety of living entity, they should forget their original identity and they should develop a false identity. That is possible by avidya shakti. And these 5 layers of avidya shakti. Without ignorance, without this avidya, this is not possible. What is not possible? False identity is not possible. Thus, first the functions of ignorance appeared on their own through Lord Brahma. First, these 5 coverings of ignorance have been manifested through the medium of Brahma. So, what are the 5 coverings? Tamas. The first one is called Tamas. In the verse, actually, they are mentioned in the opposite order. Tamas, first one, Moham, second one, Mahamoham, third one, Tamishram is fourth one, and the Tamishram is fifth one. So, first one is Tamas. It is also called Avidya. That means ignorance of our Swarupa, ignorance of the Swarupa of Jiva. We really forget who we really are in the spiritual world by this first layer of Tamas or Avidya. And having forgotten our original identity, we need to have some identity in this material world. That secondary identity is given by the second layer known as Moha. Moha means Asmita. Egoism or false identification with the body. So in whichever body the jiva is placed, if jiva is placed in the human body, we think ourselves as a human being. If it is male body, male, female body, female. If jiva is placed in animal body, that jiva thinks as animal. If it is donkey body, donkey, horse body, horse, cow body, cow, like that. And if jiva is placed in a plant body, the jiva thinks itself as a plant. Banyan tree, ashwatha tree, and neem tree, like that, various trees. And if jiva is placed in the body of a devata, asura, etc., they will think like that. That is called moha or asmita. Having forgotten our original identity, we get a new identity. Having entered into any material body, and then like that, there are many jivas are being situated in their respective bodies, and everyone are identifying with their respective body. But in the society, when living entities are living together, people help each other, living entities help each other, plants help each other, devatas help each other, asuras help each other. Those whoever helping us and their help is giving us enjoyment, we develop possessiveness to those objects of enjoyment, to those people of enjoyment. Those people who are giving us enjoyment, those objects which are giving us enjoyment, we develop possessiveness upon them, or we develop attachment for those objects or for those people. That is called Mahamoha or Raga. Moha means identity with the body, and Mahamoha means attachment to those objects or those people who are giving us happiness or who are giving happiness to our body. And then, so like this, people are trying to get happiness from various objects or from other people, but there may be some other people who are also getting happiness from the same objects, from the same people. If two people are trying to get happiness from one object or from one third person, there will be competition between them. So that because of that competition, there can be hatred among those two people. Because the both people say that this object is mine, this object is mine, this object is meant for my enjoyment, or this person is meant for my enjoyment. So there will be repulsion or there will be hatred between those two people. That is called dvesha or tamishram. Because they are actually obstructing one's enjoyment in this material world. So this is the fourth layer. And then finally, the fifth layer, it is called Adhata Mishra or Abhinivesha, which is nothing but a psychological fear about death. Every living entity has psychological fear that there is death awaiting for me. That death is full stop for all my enjoyment. So the life's mission, the life's goal for such kind of people is, before death comes, let me have as much enjoyment as possible, as maximum enjoyment as possible. So because of this, a person's consciousness is deeply immersed in getting more and more enjoyment. If wealth is going to give us enjoyment, the consciousness is involved in earning more wealth. If fame and name is giving enjoyment, the person's endeavors are put in to get more fame and more name. If possessions, the properties are going to give enjoyment, people only interested in increasing their properties, increasing their possessions, etc. etc. So, Andatambishram is deep dark well or Abhinivesha. Abhinivesha means, Nivesha means to reside. Abhinivesha means to completely reside or to completely absorbed in that particular thing only. Before death comes, let me have as much enjoyment as possible. Absorption in material pleasure. In whichever way, it can be gross enjoyment, subtle enjoyment, it can be enjoyment due to name and fame, it can be enjoyment due to more money and more prestige and more power, position, etc. etc. Whichever way. And their entire life goes in that endeavor. So, but because of these five things, in order to, because of these five things, we by default perform so many sinful activities. As a result, we are supposed to take rebirth again in this material world. Thus, our tenure in this material world will increase life after life. So originally they are not present in the jiva, in the spiritual world. But as soon as jiva comes into this material world, they were given to jiva. Because of that, we have got a different identity, and because of them, we are actually bound in this material world. So that is being indicated here. So these five are the creation of avidya potency of Maya Shakti. And these five can be rearranged in two groups. These are the two shades of Maya. One is called Avaranatmika, the second one is called Prakshepatmika. The first one, which is actually covering our original entity, which is making us forget our original entity, that is called Avaranatmika Shakti. Avarana means to cover. And Prakshepatmika Shakti means Praktushta Rupena Ikshite, which gives us a different identity other than our original identity. That is Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishra, Andatamishra, Ravi, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. These four will act as Prakshepatmika Shakti of Maya Devi. They give us a different identity only in this material world altogether. So these are the five layers of avidya. So being covered by these five layers of avidya, the living entities forget their original identity and they get a new identity in terms of different variety of trees and plants or different variety of lower species, the variety of aquatics, reptiles, birds and beasts, all they are part of this eighth creation, and different variety of human beings and different variety of superhuman beings such as devatas, kumara, devatas and kinnaras, kimpurushas, gandharvas, etc. All these are part of these four kinds of creation done by Brahma. So these four we already discussed in the previous chapter, 10th chapter. Now in the 12th chapter, the further which are not mentioned in the previous chapter, of course the variety of devatas are being mentioned, but some kind of sages and also other living entities who have not been mentioned in the previous chapter are mentioned in the next chapter, the current chapter, such as Kumaras and etc. So now from verse number 3 and 4 talks about the creation of Kumaras. How the creation of Kumaras is done is being described in the third and fourth verses. दृष्ट्वा पापीयसीं सृष्टिं नात्मानं बहु अमन्यता भगवद्ज्ञानपूतेन मनस्सान्यं ततो सृजत्. So after creating the five kinds of layers of ignorance, five kinds of ajnana vrittis, five kinds of binding factors in this material world, And by using them, he already created the plants, he already created the aquatics, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Then he created the different variety of human beings, and he created different variety of human beings. And he was not happy because he created all the asuras, all the rakshasas, all the lower species animals, plants, etc. He was not happy with that creation. Drishtva papiyasham srishtim, having created this papa srishti, he was not at all happy. So in order to purify his heart, in order to start a wonderful creation, he actually meditated on Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Dhyana Putena. By meditating on Lord Bhagavan, his heart became purified. Manasanyam tato srujat. Then with that purified heart, then he created from his mind. Manasa means from his mind. So from his mind, from his purified mind, by the meditation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there appeared 4 Kumaras. Manasayanam refers to the 4 Manasa Putras, 4 Kumaras. So who are the 4 Kumaras? Their names are mentioned in the next verse. Sanakam cha Sanandam cha Sanatanam Atamba Sanatanam Atatma Bhu Sanat Kumaram cha Munim Nishkriya Urdvaretasa. He created the very first creation after meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and after his heart is being purified with a pure heart, there appeared from his mind the 4 Kumaras. Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. What are the qualities of these people? They are Urdhva Ritasa, they are celibate monks, and in Nishkriya, they are not at all engaged in the material activities. They don't have any material activity to be performed in this material world. They are only engaged in meditation. So what are the qualities of these 4 people? So that is being indicated here. So Lord Brahma first created the 4 Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara with a purified heart. So the nature of these people is they are free from material actions, they are, that is Nishkriya, and strict in Brahmacharya. Urdhva Retasa, they are strict in Brahmacharya. And who are these 4 people? These 4 Kumaras, they actually represent the 4 aspects of Vidya. By taking shelter of Vidya, we can actually get rid of the bad influence of Avidya. So Vidya had got 6 components. We have already seen in the previous slide. The 6 components of karma, Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, Tapasya, and Bhakti. And out of the 6, these 4 Kumaras appeared as the representatives of 4 Angas of Vidya. Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapas. Sanaka appeared to preach Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga means Jnana Yoga. Sanatana appeared to preach Ashtanga Yoga. Sanandana appeared to preach Vairagya. Sanat Kumara appeared to preach Tapasya. So this is the service of these 4 Kumaras. The life's mission of these 4 Kumaras is to preach all over the universe about how to perform Sankhya Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapasya. So these are the activities of these 4 Kumaras. Their life's mission is only to preach these 4 Angas of Vidya, practicing which the people of this world can actually destroy the 5 coverings of Avidya, and their path back to Godhead becomes clear. Since Vidya is useless without Bhakti, Bhakti is also present in these 4 items as a secondary item. So Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapasya on their own does not give any perfection. They does not give the qualification to go back to Godhead. And these 4 should be performed along with Vidya, along with Bhakti. Bhakti as a secondary element. So then that becomes Bhakti Mishra Sankhya, Bhakti Mishra Yoga, Bhakti Mishra Vairagya, Bhakti Mishra Tapasya. When all these 4 are performed along with Bhakti, then one can go back to Godhead. So it is called as Bhakti Mishra Jnana and Bhakti Mishra Yoga, Bhakti Mishra Tapasya, and Bhakti, Vairagya. So these were the 4 Kumaras who actually always remain 5 years boys. So that is being indicated. So 4 Kumaras appear to preach the 4 Angas of Vidya. That is their service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tan babase svabhuputran praja srujata putraka tannai chan moksha dharmano vasudeva parayana. So as soon as the 4 Kumaras were born, Lord Brahma requested them, my dear sons, please get married and beget children. I am the creator, you are my sons, you need to assist me. So please beget progeny. Then the 4 Kumaras said that we are Vasudeva Parayana. We are always dedicated to Lord Vasudeva and we are Moksha Dharmano. Our life is dedicated to attainment of moksha. We don't want to be entangled in this material world by performing material activities. So we don't want to get into household order and we don't want to beget children. Instead, we will remain as the young children so that no one will question that why you are not getting married. So the 4 Kumaras decided to stay as 5 years old boys. That is called Kaumara Avastha. That's why they are called 4 Chatush Kumaras. So they remained as 4 Kumaras. Then it is said that so avadhyata stuter evam pratyakya tanushasane krodam durviha samjatam niyantum upachakrame. As soon as the 4 Kumaras said that no, we don't want to do any activities, we don't want to enter into household order and we don't want to be bound, entangled in this material world. Our life's goal is only go back to Godhead, Moksha Dharma. And our life is meant to serving the Supreme Lord Vasudeva Parayana and preach others how to serve the Supreme Lord, attain moksha. That is our life goal. So Lord Brahma became angry. I have created you. I am requesting you, all of you, to assist me in the matter of creation. And you outrightly say that we are not interested in creation. We want to remain as celibate monks. Lord Brahma became angry initially. But Lord Brahma understood that their motive is right. Their motive is not to lazy, not to remain lazy, but they're only interested in going back to Godhead and teaching others in going back to Godhead. So Lord Brahma understood, okay, what they want to do is actually the right thing. So Lord Brahma, with his good intelligence, he controlled his anger. Though it is very difficult to control the anger, but he tried to control that anger. But by the time he controlled his anger, that anger came out of his brukuti. Dhiya nigriya manobi brur madhyat prajapate sadyo jayata tanmanyu kumaro nilalohita. That anger, by the time Lord Brahma tried to control it, the whole anger appeared from his brukuti, brur madhya, from the middle portion of the 2 eyebrows. Filled with anger is also another Kumara, another young boy, Nilalohita, with a complexion of blue and red. Nila is blue, Alohita is red. So a personality made up of anger, Tan Manu, anger personified, was born from the Bhukuti area of Lord Brahma. He was also a Kumara. His complexion is Nilalohita, red and blue. So then what happened? Savairuroda Devanam Purvajo Bhagavan Bhava Namani Kurume Data Tanani Cha Jagadguru. As soon as the boy was born, before Brahma could speak anything, the boy began to cry. Ruroda, they began to cry. And he began to ask Brahma, my dear creator, please tell me who am I? What is my name? Where I am supposed to stay? So Namani Kurume Data, what is my name? Please give me a name. Tanani Cha Jagadguru, and give me a place to stay. So these are the requests by that Kumara, whoever appeared from the Brukuti of Lord Brahma. So before going further, we'll take this. So why this Kumara, the anger personified appear? So just as Vidya destroys Avidya, sometimes Avidya destroys Vidya. So just like the 4 Kumaras who are the representative of four Vidya, four Angas of Vidya, and these four Angas will destroy Avidya. Sometimes Avidya also destroys Vidya. Now Brahma's heart is purified, but that Brahma with purified also became angry as soon as the four Kumaras kind of said, we don't want to get married and beget children. So sometimes Avidya also can destroy our knowledge. In order to show that, in order to indicate the power of Avidya, the birth of this Rudra is being indicated here. To show this, anger or Tamishra, the chief aspect of Avidya, makes its appearance as Rudra from Lord Brahma. So Rudra is an indicator of Tamishra or anger. Itan Manya Manyu personified, anger personified. Though Brahma previously produced Vidya in the form of Kumaras, by becoming angry, he gave birth to Avidya in the form of anger. So Lord Shiva is a anger personified. The nature of anger is to destroy. Because of that, the service of Lord Shiva is destruction. The principal service of Lord Shiva is to destroy everything that has been created by Brahma at the end of the day of Brahma. So this is when the four Kumara said, no, we don't want to get married and beget children. Brahma became anger, from his Brukuti appeared another Kumara, another small boy, who is Nila Lohita. And here now we are going to discuss in the next verse. Lord Brahma will give him 11 names and 11 places to stay. So these are the 11 Rudras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11 10, 11. So like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like that. 11 Rudras are there here. So the 11 Rudras appeared from Brahma, from the anger of Brahma. So then now to explain that, iti tasya vachapadmo Bhagavan paripalayan abhyadad bhadraya vacha abhyadad bhadraya vacha marodis tat karomite. My dear son, please do not cry. I will do what as you wished. Whatever you asked, I will do everything. Yet arodhi surashreshta sodvega iva bhalaka tatastvam abhidasyanti namna rudra iti praja. So my dear son, my dear boy, do not cry. I will give you names and I will also give you the places. Since as soon as you are born, you cried loudly. You are called, in general, you are called as Rudra. And in specific, you will be called, in general, you are called as Rudra because you have cried too much at the beginning. So, and Lord Brahma is going to give 11 places for this Rudra to stay. So, what are the 11 places? Rudi Indriyanya So Vivoma Vayur Agnir Jalammahi Suryas Chandras Tapaschaiva Sthanani Agre Kritanite. So Lord Brahma gave these 11 places for the Rudra to exhibit is Rudra principle, the principle of anger, the principle of destruction. So Hrudi means heart. Heart is the birthplace of anger. Heart is the birthplace of Rudra principle. So when anger comes, first it appears in the heart. And from the heart, it expands to the senses, karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. The eyes become bigger, the eyes wide open, the fist clenches, and hitting and kicking, everything will take place. First it takes birth in the heart and it extends to the senses. People shout loudly and run and hit and kick, all these things they do. And asu, along with that, the breathing also increases. As soon as a person becomes angry, the breathing increases. And the Rudra will also stay in the Vyoma. Vyoma means ether. Ether indicates the huge sound that comes from a tiger or a lion or an earthquake or thunderstroke. That is actually fear invoking sound. All these sounds actually create fear within the heart of the hearer. And then Vayu. The nature of Vayu is to have Chakravat, the tornado, and also the nature of Vayu is to dry things. And Agni, the nature of Agni is to burn indiscriminately, forest fire, etc. And Jalam, the nature of water is to inundate, tsunami. And Mahi, the earth in the form of earthquakes or in the form of the bombs, which are the transformation of earthquake, all the variety of weapons which are meant for destruction, they are also transformation of earth. And the combination of all these elements, earth, water, fire, and ether, in the form of variety of animals such as tiger, lion, and snake, if they are there in front of us, death is sure, death is damn sure, like that. Surya, in the form of Surya, that which we experience in the hot summer, that is sunstroke and all, which is the very cause of death. And Chandra, in the winter, it could be so cool, so cold that people may die, people may freeze and die. And tapas, when people perform tapasya just like that, hardcore tapasya without any bhakti in them, their tapasya will lead to anger, like the anger of Durvasa Muni, anger of Vishwamitra, etc. etc. So these are the 11 places: heart, senses, breathing air, life air, ether, air, and fire, water, earth, sun, moon, and tapasya. They are the 11 places which are given for Rudra to stay. Since Rudra stays in all the 11 places, we should be careful. If we are not careful of these 11 things, Rudra will come out and there will be destruction of ourselves and destruction of those who are in front of us. So, etc. Out of anger, if we hit someone, if we speak some words, very sharp words, that's all, the relationship is gone for the entire life. It is said that the wound created on the tongue heals very fast, and the wound created by tongue will never, it will take the longest time. It will never heal. Actually, for the entire life also one may beg forgiveness, still the other person may not be consoled. So in that way, out of anger, when we do any of these things, wherever it is there, that's all. The action is a irreversible action. So they are the 11 places of Rudra. And then Brahma also gives 11 names to Rudra. What are the names? Manyu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Shiva. Shiva is also one of the name of 11 Rudras. Ritadvaja, Ugrareta, Bhava, Kala, Mahakala, Kala Bhairava, and Vamadeva, Dritavrata. These are the 11 names of Rudra, are the 11 names of 11 Rudras. One among them is Shiva. And then there are 11 wives for these 11 Rudras. Dhriti, Dhriti, Rasaloma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swada, Diksha. These are the 11 Rudranis. Rudranyo, Rudrate Sriya. These are 11 Rudranis, 11 Sri, 11 women, 11 wives of Rudra. And here Rasa, Rasala, and Uma. Uma is the wife of Lord Shiva. So that's where we can see the 11 Rudras and 11 Rudranis, and Uma is the wife of Shiva. So that's how we can see. Of course, all are same Shiva only. That same Shiva stays at 11 places in our entire universe with 11 names. So one Shiva stays in Nilavruta Varsha, and one Shiva stays in the greater Himalayas. One Shiva, one Rudra stays in Vitala Loka, one of the 7 lower planets. One Rudra stays in Tapaloka. Like that, at 11 different places in our universe, the 11 Rudras are actually staying continuously. So then, what says? Grihanaitani namani sthanani cha yoshana. Please accept these 11 names, the 11 Rudra names, and 11 places, starting with heart, and the 11 wives. Ye bisruja prajabhavi prajanam asi yatpati. So my dear son, you are the Lord of all the living entities. May you accept all these 11 wives and create living entities. in this universe. As being ordered by Brahma, Rudra creates many Rudras who are similar in his strength, sattva. So all the other Rudras are similar in strength and Akriti. They are similar in appearance, the physical appearance in the blue and red color, and Swabhavena, the similar in nature. The nature is filled with anger, destruction personified. Iti Adishta Swaguruna, being ordered by his own Guru, Bhagavan Nila Lohita, Lord Shiva, who is called Nila Lohita Bhagavan, created all the variety of Rudras with the same physical strength, with the same physical appearance, with the same mental disposition. But did they kept quiet? Rudranam Rudra Sishtanam Samantadgrasatam Jagat Nishamya Sankasho Yutan Prajapatir Ashankata. So as soon as they were created, they were born, all these Rudras all these other Rudras, sub-Rudras with anger personification, they began to devour whatever has been created till now. Even they are going to destroy Lord Brahma. Then Lord Brahma approached the main Rudra that was born from his Burkuti. Having approached him, Alam Prajapati Srishtbir Idrishibi Surottama Maya Saha Dahanti Bir Dishash Chakshubir Ulbana. Chakshubir Ulbana. Having fierce eyes, they are destroying all the directions and they are also going to destroy me. Maya Saha. Dahanti Bir. They are going to burn me with their angry glances. So my dear son, my dear Rudra, please don't create such kind of beings who are only meant for annihilation. Now it is time for creation, not time for annihilation. Don't create them. Tapa astita badramte sarvabhuta sukavaham tapasaiva yata purvam sushta vishwam idam bhavan. So my dear son, my dear Rudra, kindly do not create such kind of people. Instead, if you want to do an activity, now I will request you to go and perform tapasya. That tapasya will bring auspicious to you. It will bring auspicious to the entire universe. How? When a great person does something, the common people follow. Yad yad acharati shrestha tatat eva itaro jana. As a great person, as the leader of all the living entities, when you are engaged in tapasya, all the living entities will also understand that they need to do tapasya to attain perfection. So set a good example by performing tapasya. Tapasaiva yata purvam srishta vishwam idam bhavan. If you perform tapasya, the srishti will continue as it was continued in the previous day. Otherwise, if you beget children one after the other, gone case. I cannot do my service. So my dear son, please stop all this creation of destructive Rudras. Tapasaiva param jyotir bhagavantam adokshajam sarva bhuta gunavasam anjasa vindate puman. Anjasa means very easily. By performing tapasya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in the heart of every living entity, who cannot be seen easily, becomes easily seen by performing tapasya. So, by you performing tapasya, the entire universe will be benefited. By following in your footsteps, they will also perform tapasya and they will also able to see the Paramatma within their hearts out in front of them as Bhagavan. Anjase Vindate Puman. The people in general will have the good fortune of understanding and seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this was the request of Lord Brahma to Lord Shiva or Rudra. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Atma Bhuvadishta Parikramya Girampatim Bhadam Iti Amun Amantya Vivesha Tapasevanam. So having accepted the order of Lord Brahma, since Lord Brahma is his guru and also his father, Lord Shiva or Rudra went to forest and began to perform tapasya. So this is why we see Lord Shiva's photos in tapasya form, in sitting posture. He was actually performing tapasya from that time. But when there was a need for the devatas to kill one asura. His name was Tarakasura, I think. Tarakasura had a boon that Tarakasura understood that Lord Shiva is engaged in tapasya, and his wife Uma or Sati, she kind of gave up her body during Daksha Yajna. So Lord Shiva is now alone. So Tarakasura, not Tarakasura, yeah, I think, Tarakasura only. So he performed severe austerities to please Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma appeared, my dear son, what do you want? Then Tarakasura said that I want to become immortal. But Lord Brahma said, even I am not immortal, I cannot make you immortal. Then he said that, okay, no problem. I should not have death by anyone else except the son of Lord Shiva and Uma, or son of Lord Shiva and Sati. Because he thought that Lord Shiva is performing tapasya and Uma died. So there will be no chance that they will again have a son. But that Uma or that Sati, who was the daughter of Daksha, having given up that body as the daughter of Daksha, she again appeared as the daughter of Himalaya. And understanding this, that Sati again appeared as Parvati as the daughter of Himalaya, all the devatas approached Parvati Devi and requested her to marry Lord Shiva once again and beget a son who can kill this Tarakasura. So Lord Indra told that I will give you Kandarpa and all the Apsaras, so that Lord Shiva can become inclined to get married and beget children. So with the company of Kandarpa, Cupid and all the Apsaras, Parvati went and tried to disturb Lord Shiva. So wherein Cupid created the sleeping atmosphere, etc. All the ladies were dancing around. But when Lord Shiva's tapasya got disturbed, when he opened his eyes, he saw Kandarpa or Cupid in front of him. So Lord Shiva became very much angry, and by opening a third eye, he burnt Cupid. So Cupid is gone. But Parvati took it very seriously. And she performed tapasya very severely. And then, eventually, as a result of the tapasya, Lord Shiva had to marry Mother Parvati. And later on, by their marriage, there appeared Guha or Kartikeya or Kumaraswamy, who later on fought with Tarakasura and killed the Tarakasura. And eventually that Kumaraswamy became the commander-in-chief of all devatas, their Senapati for the devatas. So that's how we see Lord Shiva is generally seen as the person performing tapasya always. That is because that is requested by Brahma. And by performing tapasya, Lord Shiva is actually teaching all of us that we need to perform tapasya in that sense in order to attain perfection. Adavidyayata sargam. So okay, then so thus Lord Shiva Badamiti Amun Amantriya Vishwe Vivesha Tapasa Vanam. He went to Vanam and began to perform tapasya. Then having sent Lord Shiva to forest for performing tapasya, now Lord Brahma himself sat on meditation and wanted to create another living entities. Then from that meditation there appeared 10 Manasa Putras. Dashaputra Prajajnive. Bhagavad Shakti Yuktasya. By meditating on the Supreme Lord from the mind of Brahma, there appeared 10 Manasa Putras. For what purpose? Loka Santana Hetave. In order to increase the population of the entire universe. So who are the 10 people appeared from Brahma? Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrugu, Vashishta, Daksha, and Narada. Like these 10 sons were appeared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Narada 10. These 10 sons appeared from Brahma's various body limbs to increase the progeny in the universe. So then, how they appear? Ustangan Narado Jajne. Narada Muni appeared from the lap of Lord Brahma. Ustangan refers to lap. Daksho Angushtat. Daksha appeared from the Angushta, the thumb. And Swayambhuva Angushtat. Swayambhuva Pranad. From the life air, there appeared Daksho Angushta Swayambhuva Pranad Vasishta. From the life air appeared Vasishta. And Bhrugus Tvachi. From the skin appeared Bhrugu. Karat Kratu. From the hands appeared Kratu. So like this, 5 people are mentioned here. Narada Muni appeared from the lap of Brahma. Daksha appeared from the thumb. Vasishta appeared from the life air. Bhrugu appeared from the skin. Kratu appeared for the hands. And then Pulaho Nabito Jajne. Pulaha appeared from the navel. Pulasya Karna Yorushi. Pulasya appeared from the ears, Karna. Angira Mugato. From the face appeared Angira. Akshno Atrir. Atri appeared from the eyes of Brahma. And Marichir Manatso Abhavat. Marichi appeared from the mind. Like this, the 10 sons appeared from various bodily limbs of Brahma. So, who are these 10 sons? What is the purpose of their appearance? Then, there appeared the 10 Manasaputras in order to expand the population. They are Angira, Marichi, Atri, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrugu, Vasishta, Daksha, and the 10th Narada. The 9 sons, excluding Narada, they appeared as the representatives of Karma Yoga. The 4 Kumaras appeared as the representatives of Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapasya. And these 9 Manasaputras, starting from Angira all the way up to Daksha, they appear to preach Karma Yoga. They themselves are Grahasthas, they practice Karma Yoga, and they also teach Karma Yoga for the people of this world. How to execute Karma Yoga they teach, and they also set an example by their own life. So Angira, Marichi, Atri, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrugu, Vasishta, Daksha, they all appeared to spread Karma Yoga all over the universe. Thus, Jnana, Vairagya, Tapasya, Yoga, and Karma. These 4 are by 4 Kumaras. This Karma is from the 9 Manasaputras. Only become successful by performance of Bhakti, which actually gives results. And that Bhakti, which is the very form of all results, is represented at the end and appeared in the form of Narada. So Narada appeared as the representative of Bhakti, the 6th Anga of Vidya, and his whole life's mission is to spread Bhakti wherever he travels in the entire universe. The 9 Manasaputras preach Karma Yoga, the 4 Kumaras preach Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Vairagya, Tapasya, and Narada Muni appeared to preach Bhakti. So Bhakti is the prerogative of Narada Muni. It is Narada Muni who is Bhakti personified, who appeared to preach Bhakti all over the world. That should be understood. So this is Daksha. And these are the 7 of the 9 Manasaputras who became Saptarishis during the Swayambhuva Manvantara period. There are Saptarishis during every Manvantara period. Here the bold letter Marichi, Atri, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrugu, and Vasishta. These 7 people became the Saptarishis during the Swayambhuva Manvantara period. And Daksha is shown here. And the Saptarishis. And this is Narada. So what is the activity of Narada? Narada's activity is to travel everywhere and preach Bhakti. So what is the specialty of Narada? Nara refers to the Supreme Personality of God. Naranaran Rishi, we generally say, Nara refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Nara refers to that which is taken birth from Nara. Like Pandu, Pandavas, Kunti, Kaunteya, like that. Swayambhu, like that it is generally said. The sun is called with the long A. So same way. So Nara is Lord Narayana. Nara means that which belongs to Nara. That will belong to Nara, the Supreme Lord. So Narada, what belongs to Supreme Lord? The Nara means that which belongs to Lord. Narada means that which gives Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya and Madhurya unto the devotees. Narada is that thing that is nothing but bhakti. Narada indicates bhakti, which will give us a kind of special relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vasalya Rasa and Madhurya Rasa. All these rasas are actually given by bhakti. When we practice bhakti, we develop that relationship with the Supreme Lord and we will be able to serve the Lord in that Dasya Rasa, Sakya, Vasalya and Madhurya Rasas. And all these are given by bhakti. That bhakti is represented by Narada. That's why he is called as Narada. So this is the significance of Narada. Another way people say that Narayana Datati iti Narada. That one personality who will give us Narayana to us as our object of worship is Narada. So any person in this material world, whoever preaches us bhakti, they are also Narada. In a way, they are representatives of Narada Muni because they are all preaching bhakti. So thus all these are appeared. Narada Pancharatra says, Sankhya Yogaucha Vairagyam Tapo Bhaktischa Keshave Pancha Parvaiva Vidya. O Keshava, there are 5 types of knowledge: Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, Tapasya and Bhakti. Of course, before these 5 there is also Karma. So these 5 along with Karma, the 6 are called as Vidya and they are represented by 4 Kumaras, 9 Manasaputras and Narada Muni. They appear to preach these 6 saknas of Vidya, practicing which the people of this world can actually cut through the 5 layers of avidya and then go back to Godhead. So that is being indicated here in these verses. Hope you are able to follow. So in essence, what is being mentioned in these chapters and verses is Maya has 3 functions. The first function is Pradhana, second function is Avidya, third function is Vidya. From Pradhana comes 24 elements. By their combination comes the universal egg. From their combination comes the lotus. From the lotus comes 14 planetary systems. From their combination only comes the material body for human beings, animals, plants and devatas and sages, etc. But that identity with those bodies comes by Avidya. By Avidya, we forget our original identity and we develop a new identity. But by practicing Vidya, we actually cut through that Avidya. But who will give us Vidya? The 4 Kumaras have appeared to give us Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya and Tapasya. The 9 Manasaputras appeared to give us Karma Yoga and Narada Muni appeared to give us Bhakti Yoga. So these are the main principal creations of Lord Brahma. And afterwards, after these creations, the other factors that Lord Brahma had created are mentioned in the further verses of this chapter. So we have a few more minutes, we will briefly go through them. A quick summary of the previous part of the chapter. Dharmastana Dakshinato Yatra Narayana Swayam Adharma Prashato Yasmin Matyurloka Bhayanaka. Dharma appeared from the chest of Lord Brahma. The left chest where the Paramatma is situated. So from that place, Dharma appeared, which gives us Narayana. And Adharma appeared from the back of Brahma. That is, adharmic activities, adharmic principles, they all appear from the back of Brahma, which actually takes us to Mrityu and also repeated birth. The death and repeated birth in this material world by performing adharmic activities. By performing dharmic activities, one will attain Narayana. That means one will go back to Godhead. So Dharma appeared from the chest of Lord Brahma, Adharma appeared from the back of Lord Brahma. And then, so how do we understand what is Dharma, what is Adharma, what is called Dharma, what is called Adharma? The various factors that instigate Adharma and the various factors that instigate Dharma are mentioned in the next verse. Hrudi kamo bruvor krodo lobhaschadaradachat asyadvak siddhavo medran nirati payor agashraya. From the heart there appeared kama, that is material desire. From the bruvor, from the eyebrows there appeared anger. From Adara, from the lips there appeared Lobha, greed. And Asyad Vak, from the mouth there appeared words. And Sindhavo Medrin, from the genital there appeared oceans. And from the anus, Payu means anus, there appeared Niriti, which is the shelter for the sin, Agashraya. So, among all these things, except walk, remaining all in one way, they actually instigate the desire to perform adharmic activities within us. The material desire tells us to perform sinful activities. The anger tells us to perform sinful activities. The greed will tell us to perform sinful activities. And the principle of ocean or the principle of genital also will instigate a person to perform sinful activities. And the Niriti means the demon. Niriti actually they are one category of demons. The demons also influence us to perform sinful activities. So all these factors actually instigate us to perform adharmic activities. But only one thing, the good words of a great personality, the words of a wise sage will inspire us to practice dharma. The meaningful words of a great personality spoken based on the Vedas will help us to practice dharma, and all other factors that are mentioned in this verse, they all instigate us to practice adharma. So like that. So though dharma appears on the front, we only understand what dharma and how to practice dharma only when we hear from a representative of Narada Muni or 4 Kumaras or 9 Manasaputras. Otherwise, all other things, kama, lust, anger, greed, and envy, illusion, all these instigate adharma. Chayaya kardam ojajne devahutya pati prabhu manaso dehatas jajne vishwa krutogata jagat. So from the shadow of Brahma, there appeared Kardama, who is the husband of Devahuti. Thus, from his mind and from his body, Lord Brahma created various living entities. The living entities starting from the plants, aquatics, reptiles, birds, beasts, animals, human beings, and Devatas, and the sages, and all the other things, Rudra, Kumaras, they all appeared from the various body limbs of Brahma and the mind of Brahma. And having created all of them for them to live happily in this material world. Okay. Okay, not that. Okay. After mentioning that, there is one more thing is mentioned. Vacham duhitram tanvim swayambur haratim mana akama chakamekshatta sakama iti nashrutam. Here it says that iti nashrutam. Sukadeva Goswami, no, Maitreya Rishi says that I have not seen personally, but I have heard from other speakers of Bhagavatam that once Brahma, after creating Vak, his own daughter Vagdevi, his own creation, the slender waisted Vagdevi, he began to follow after her. Having overtaken by Kama, lust, he began to follow after her. But when Brahma was following after his own creation, the Vak, the present deity of words, Vagdevi, Brahma's sons, headed by Marichi, they kind of requested Brahma, my dear father, don't do like this. Though what you are doing from your position, it may not be a sinful activity, but people in general will understand that, okay, we can also follow our own creation. So it creates a bad example. A personalities like you are meant to create a good example, but by performing this activity, following after your own creation, being influenced by lust or kama, it is not setting a good example in this material world. Naitat purvam krutam tvadye na karishyanti chapare. Neither in the past nor in the future, no one will do like this. No one in the sense, no great personality will do like this. No great personality like you. None of the Brahmas have done like this in the past. They will not do in the future also. So, my dear Brahma, don't do like this. Because your life is meant for an example. Tejiyasam abhiyetan na shushlokyam jagadguru. Though you are not subjected to sinful reaction by this activity, you are so great. For you, there is no categorization of sinful and unsinful, but still it does not give good glory for you. Na sushlokyam, because of this activity, you will be criticized by people of this world. So don't do that. Yad vrittam anutishtan vai lokam kshemaya kalpate. And people of this world will think that okay, doing this is good for them also. So you are only setting bad example in this material world. Tasmai. But when they understood that, in spite of giving this good counsel, Brahma did not stop. Still he is following after the daughter. Then the Marichi and other sages, they prayed to Supreme Lord. It is only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord a person's lust can be controlled, not by good counsel. Only when the Supreme Lord shows his compassion, a person can control one's material desires. Tasmai namo bhagavate yaidam svena rocisha atmastam vyanjayan asha sadharmam patumarhasi. He says that, my dear Lord, they all pray to the Supreme Lord, my dear Lord, please purify this consciousness or this mentality of our dear Guru and Father Brahma, who is actually following after his own creation, Vagdevi. He is setting a bad example in this material world. It is not good. So then, having accepted the prayers of Marichi and other sages, the Supreme Lord kind of transformed the heart of Brahma. Then Brahma realized what he is doing is not good. So whatever the thought process came within the heart of Brahma, Lord Brahma gave up that disposition, gave up that mental disposition. And that disposition is accepted by the directions. And because of that, the directions become dark, or the directions are covered by fog. The mental disposition, the sinful disposition of Lord Brahma, which made Lord Brahma to follow after his own creation, Vagdevi, as he given up that disposition is accepted by directions and it is transformed itself into fog. When there is fog, we can't see each other, especially in the winter season, we will have a lot of fog. That time there will be great chance of accidents on the highways. So that is one of the things which is due to this disposition. It transformed into the fog. So then, having given up that sinful disposition, Lord Brahma again sat on meditation. When he sat on meditation, when he performed meditation, Veda Asam Chaturmukha, the four Vedas appeared from the four mouths of Lord Brahma. So why the four Vedas appeared? Because there are two factors are involved. Brahma is currently creating and creation has to continue, and whatever has been created, that has to be maintained properly. So Lord Brahma is the guru of everyone that he has created. He has to teach everyone how to live in this material world. So the teachings and the other ways by which he can create, they are all there in the Vedas. Thus, the four Vedas appeared from the four mouths of Brahma. Brahma already had four heads. From the four mouths, the four Vedas appeared. And these four Vedas will teach Brahma how to create further and will also teach all of us how to live in this material world in a sane way, in a sane condition. Chaturhotram karmatantram upaveda nayesaha dharmasya padas chatvaras tatayvashrama Chaturhotram, the four kinds of activities that are performed by four kinds of priests in the performance and Vajna. They also appeared from the four mouths of Brahma. And all the variety of different sacrifices, Karma Tantram, they also appeared. And all the variety of Upavedas, Nyaya Shastras, Dharma Shastras, and four padas of Dharma, and four Varnas and four Ashramas, all these things also appeared from four mouths of Brahma. One after the other, all these things which are required for us to live in a same way, which are required for us to live happily in this material world, they all appeared from the four mouths of Brahma. Then Vidura asks, so my dear Maitreya Rishi, Can you please tell me from which mouth of Brahma appeared which component, which Veda, which Upaveda, which Varna, which Ashrama, which activity, all these things? Can you please tell me all these details in detail? How exactly and which exactly appeared from which mouth of Brahma, etc. etc. So these are the various things that have appeared from the four mouths of Brahma. Dharma, Dharma, Adharma, Vak, Adharma we discussed. Fact and truth, Dharma and we discussed. Knowledge items that have appeared from Brahma's four mouths. Vedas, Upavedas, the Puranas, Itihasas, fire sacrifice and actions of four priests, four legs of Dharma, four Varnas, four Ashramas, and all these things, various things have appeared. So step by step, they are all mentioned here. From Lord Brahma's four mouths, starting from east, south, west, north, there appeared four Vedas to guide Brahma about the process of creation, and Chaturhotram, four kinds of actions in a fire sacrifice: Hota, Udgata, Advaryu, and Brahma. So these activities have appeared from eastern, southern, western, northern mouth, and Rigveda appeared from eastern mouth, Yajurveda appeared from southern mouth, Samaveda appeared from west mouth, and Atharvaveda appeared from north mouth. So like this, the four Vedas and the four activities of four priests, they all appeared from the four mouths of Brahma. And all the variety of fire sacrifices, they also appeared from four mouths of Brahma. And four Upavedas, the four Vedas might talk about in terms of the knowledge, in terms of performing yajna, in terms of performing tapasya, in terms of performing Ashtanga Yoga, etc. etc. there. But for a general people, in order to maintain our life, we need livelihood. That livelihood activities are the activities of other three Varnas. The Vedas are connected to Brahmanas, but the activities of Kshatriyas, Vaishya, Shudras, they are explained in terms of four Upavedas. Ayurveda, it is the activity of all the doctors. Dhanurveda, it is the activity of Kshatriyas. Gandharva Veda, it is the activity of the arts and music. There are so many people who are connected to the different variety of arts, composing poems, composing stories, and dancing and acting. They're all part of this Gandharva Veda. And finally, Stapasya. Stapasya refers to construction. All the different branches of engineering are part of Stapasya. Building construction, road construction, all the other things, etc. Everything is that in that way. The action performed in terms of the supplementary Vedas, vocational courses, and afterwards, from the four mouths there appeared Puranas and Itihasas, which embodies all the Vedas. The Puranas and Itihasas also appeared from the four mouths of Brahma, which are meant to explain the meaning of four Vedas. So like that they all appeared. Then there appeared four parts or four legs of Dharma. Satya, Saucha, Tapa and Daya. The four legs appear from the four mouths of Lord Brahma. They appeared in the form of knowledge. When a person is knowledgeable, then person's heart becomes pure. And when a person is charitable, the person can show compassion to all the living entities. And penance and truth. Like these four principles of Dharma appeared from four mouths. And four types of Brahmacharya appeared from four mouths. Savitra, Prajapatya, Brahmana and Brahat. There are four categories of Brahmacharis. For example, Savitra means one who follows Brahmacharya for 3 days. Prajapatya means for 1 year. Brahmana means till the time one completes one's education in Gurukul, then one comes home and marries. And Bruhat means lifelong celibacy. Like that, four kinds of Brahmacharis. And there are four kinds of Grihasthas: Varta, Sancha, Shalina and Silocha. And four kinds of Vanaprasthas: Vaikanasa, Valakilya, Audumbara and Fena. And four kinds of sannyasis: Kutichaka, Bahavoda, Amsa and Nishkriya. Kutichaka is the person who has just taken sannyas and lives in a kuti, in the same village, next to one's house, next to one's own family house. There he performs basic activities and he takes food from his own home. But afterwards he gives up his that kuti, that home, and he begins to live in the forest nearby village, that is called a Bahavoda. Then he begins to travel from place to place, that is called Paramamsa or Parivrajaka Acharya. And finally, when a person becomes self-realized, one becomes Nishkriya. He is called Jivan Mukta Sannyasi. So like that. The four categories of brahmacharis, grahasthas, vanaprasthas and sannyasis also manifested from four mouths of Brahma. And then four varnas are the four orders of life are the four classifications of caste according to the vocation to learn about the four principles. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras also appeared from four bodily links of Brahma. From head appeared Brahmanas, from arms appeared Kshatriyas, from thighs appeared Vaishyas, from legs appeared Shudras. And from Brahma's four mouths, there appeared Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. These four principles also appeared from four mouths of Brahma. And the most celebrated hymns, Bhu, Bhuva, Swa and Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, combination of these three. 1, 2, 3, 4. These four most important syllables, they all appeared from four mouths of Lord Brahma. And from the heart of Brahma there appeared Om, the Pranava, Omkara. Omkara appeared from the heart, and Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, they appeared from the four mouths. And then finally, the various meters to compose a verse, because all the Vedas, all the Puranas, everything is composed in verse forms. And the composition is in the form of various meters. Gayatri means each line will have 24 letters. Ushnik means each line will have 28 letters, 28 syllables. Anushtup means 32 syllables. Brihati means 36 syllables. Pankti means 40 syllables. Trishtup means 44 syllables. Jagati means 48 syllables. Basically, in whichever Bhagavatam verse we read, we should take two lines. In two lines combined together, how many syllables are there? They should be either 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48. Based on that, that verse is called with that particular name. Generally, most of the verses in Bhagavatam are in Gayatri meter. All the small verses in Bhagavatam are Gayatri meter. So Gayatri appeared from skin, Ushnik appeared from body hairs, Anushtup appeared from veins, Brihati appeared from prana, Pankti appeared from marrow, Trishtup appeared from muscles, Jagati appeared from bones. Like that, all the variety of verse writing, the meters appeared from various bodily limbs. And then from Brahma's body, from the whole body, there appeared Swara. Swara means vowels. Starting with A, E, U, Ru, La, A, I, O. These are all 13 vowels. They appear from Brahma's body. And from Brahma's life, there appeared 25 consonants or sparsha. Gutturals, Kakka, Gagga, Na. Palatals, Chacha, Jajja, Na. Cerebrals, Tata, Dadda, Na. Dentals, Tatta, Dadda, Na. Labials, Papa, Baba, Ma. So each group has a special nature. For example, dentals. Dentals means connected to tongue or connected to teeth. Tatta, Dadda, Na. Tatta, Dadda, Na. Tatta, Dadda, Na. So the tongue is touching the upper teeth. That's why they are called dentals. And labials means Papa, Baba, Ma. The upper lip touches the lower lip. And cerebrals, Tata, Dada, Na. The tongue is twisted inside and speaks upward. Tata, Dada, Na. It touches on the upper portion of the upper jaw of our mouth. And palatals is Chacha, Jajja, Na. Chacha, Jajja, Na. The tongue is kind of pressed together and speaks. And gutturals means Kakka, Gagana. Kakka, Gagana. So tongue is pressed and nose also comes into picture. Like that, these are all there. And from his strength comes Antastha, the semi-ovals, Yara, Lava. They are simple words. The tongue stays at the same place. Just the air comes, Yara, Lava. A brief movement of the air produces these four letters. And from his senses appeared Ushmana. Sha, Sha, Sa. Sha, Sha, Sa. So they are called Ushmanas. And also there are aspirants. Ha, Hum, Ha. Ha, Hum, Ha. All these five letters appeared from his senses. and then there appeared sibilants. Sha, Sha, Sa. They are called sibilants. Of course, the different names are there. And from Brahma's playing, there appeared Saptaswara, the 7 musical notes beginning with Shadja, Sarigama Padani. They also appeared from Lord Brahma's playing. So now you see, everything that we are familiar with in this world, everything that is required for us to live in a sane condition in this material world, they all appeared from Lord Brahma. So what all appeared from Lord Brahma? The 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, and 4 Vedangas, alphabets, grammar, dictionary or etymology, meter, astrology, astronomy, and rules for ritual. They all appeared from the Vedangas appeared from Lord Brahma, and 4 Vedas like Ayurveda, Gandharva Veda, the Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Sapasya. They also appeared from Brahma. Puranas, Itihasas, Dharmashastras, which talk about 4 Varnas, 4 Ashrama, their occupations, etc. And scriptures and logic, that Nyashastras and also Mimamsa. All these, the 16 branches of the Vedic literature, they all appeared from Lord Brahma, so that we can live happily in this material world by performing our activities, our Varnashrama duties, and then we can go back home back to Godhead. So thus, all these appeared from Brahma, mind and body. So initially the 5 Ajnana-vrittis appeared. 5 Ajnana-vrittis: Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. Or Moham, Mahamoham, Tamas, Moham, Mahamoham, Tamishram, Tamishram, etc. They all appeared. Then there appeared the 4 Kumaras, then Rudra, and then 10 Manasaputras. These are 10 Manasaputras. And Narada Muni is here, and etc. etc. All these different people appeared. And from Brahma's 4 mouths, there appeared all the other things: 4 Varnas, 4 Ashramas, all the Vedas, and different things. And Kardama appeared from the 4 variety of Brahmanas, all the variety of this thing. Kardama appeared from shadow. Like that, all the different people appeared from Lord Brahma. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, Gayatri Mantra, all the meters, everything, they are all kind of indicated here. They all manifested from Lord Brahma. So that Brahma at the end of this chapter is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead only. Shabda Brahmatma Nastasya Vyaktavyaktatma Napara Brahmavabhati Vitato Nana Shakti Upabrahmita. The Supreme Lord, who is impersonal Brahman and also the personal Bhagavan. Para refers to the Supreme Lord, who is impersonal Brahman and also the personal Bhagavan, filled with various Shaktis, Nana Shakti Upabrahmita, makes his appearance as Brahma, Brahma Avabhati, whose body is composed of the Vedas, Shabda Brahma Atmanas, which is audible sound as Vaikari, which is Vyakta sound, and inaudible as Om, Avyakta. Om cannot be, Om is actually there within the heart only. It is called Avyakta nature of the sound vibration. And Vyakta is Vaikar in the form of A, I, E, U, and all the alphabets. That is all Vyakta. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who exists in the form of impersonal Brahman and personal Bhagavan, manifested in the form of Brahma, who is also called as Shabda Brahma, composed of Vedas, in order to manifest all the Vedic literature in the form of inaudible sound Om and audible alphabets. So this is the final position of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is Gunavatar of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is actually non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the nature of Brahma. So finally, in spite of creating all these things, Brahma was thinking that still nothing is happening, what to do, etc. So at that time, since Brahma's form is made up of Shabda Brahma, and in this form, the sex life is not forbidden. So now Brahma again meditated on the Supreme Lord. From his meditation, there appeared 2 beings. They are called Kayam, one male and one female. They are known as Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. So when Lord Brahma The Supreme Lord appeared in the form of Shabda Brahma, with the good disposition of Brahma, from whom the Vedas appeared and all the other things appeared. In that Brahma's body, the sex life is not forbidden. So then, in that condition, as the meditated Supreme Lord, there appeared two beings. The first Manu, Swayambhu Manu, and a female known as Satarupa. And they are known as the descendants of Brahma. And these two people married each other. Swayambhu Manu married Satarupa. And since the sex life is not forbidden in Brahma, and these two, by engaging in sexual activity by the union, they begot 5 children. The 5 children were Priyavrata, Uttanapada, 2 sons, and 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. So, from these 3 daughters, there appeared multiple children. From Prasuti appeared 16 daughters, because Prasuti was given in marriage to Daksha. Daksha begot 16 daughters through Prasuti. Those 16 daughters married different sages, and they begot many children. And Akuti was given in marriage to sage Ruchi. She begot 2 sons, Lord Yajna and Dakshina. And Devahuti was given in marriage to Kardama. And Devahuti begot 9 daughters. And those 9 daughters married 9 Manasaputras of Brahma. And they begot so many sons. So till the time Brahma created through his mind and intelligence, the mind and body, the creation was not going fast. But after creating Swayambhu Manu and Satarupa, from their marriage there appeared 3 daughters and 2 sons. And from them onwards, all the creation goes on by union between male and female. That the creation increased in a great number and continues to increase, or continues till the end of the night of, till the end of the day of Brahma, till the night starts. So this is the process of creation by Lord Brahma. So in summary, the 12th chapter talks about using the 24 elements created by Pradhana, using the 5 Ajnana Vrittis created by Avidya Shakti of Maya, Lord Brahma created variety of beings such as aquatics, reptiles, birds, bees, mammals, and different variety of plants, and different variety of human beings, and different variety of superhuman beings, devatas, asuras, etc. And then he created the sages, the 4 Kumaras, and then Rudra, 11 Rudras, and then the 9 Manasaputras who appeared as representative of Karma Yoga, the 4 Kumaras appeared as representative of Jnana, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapasya, and then Narada Muni as a representative of Bhakti, and then various other things. And then from Brahma's body appeared Vak. Since Brahma followed after Vak, that activity is not good, so Brahma gave up that mentality. Then he performed worship of the Supreme Lord. Then the good mentality appeared within him. That is called Shabda Brahma, form of Brahma. That is there currently now, and in which the sex life is not forbidden. So from that body, there appeared 2 personalities, Swayambhu Manu and Satarupa. And they begot children by union in the future. But the same Brahma also created so many other things, the 4 Vedas, 4 Upavedas, and 6 Vedangas, and many other things, so that all of us can live happily in this material world. Though the modern scientific advancement, they may say that the words have been created few thousand years back, and so many things they may say that. But all these things are originally created by Lord Brahma at the very beginning of creation. And the modern science says, they may say that first there was single-cellular bacteria, then it expanded amoeba, then expanded to bicellular, tricellular, multicellular, like that, evolution takes place. But here Lord Brahma is creating everyone from his body or mind. And then from the point of Satarupa and Swayambhu Manu, the living entities continued from there on by the union between male and female. So where is the transformation from single-cellular to bicellular, etc., etc. So this gives us the proper understanding of what exactly happens and how it happens at the beginning of the creation. So this entire creation of Brahma is the Vedic alternative to the modern theory of evolution. So I'm sorry for covering the entire chapter and going through this entire chapter today itself, because next week I'm planning to go to my hometown. I might be staying at my hometown for 3-4 weeks, 2-3 weeks. So Nimay Chand Prabhu will continue from 13th chapter onwards. So next week His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu might take class. The next week onwards, Nimay Chand Prabhu will continue classes till for few chapters. Then I will continue. So thank you very much. I'm extremely sorry for keeping all of you till 9:20. But quickly before departing, maybe a couple of minutes, if some devotees want to ask something, if something is not clear.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Prabhuji, of course it was it was fast for us to understand, but we'll go through the chapter, and if there are some doubts when you come, we can ask again. But I have one doubt, Prabhuji, about the Rudras. You said 11 Rudras. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna tells that I'm Shiva in amongst the Rudra. So in that, are there any different qualities? Means in Rudras also they have superior or something like that, because he's the superior most in everything amongst, like in animals he says I'm lion, this, that, like that.
No,
so
it is not about superior. It is about the famous. Among the 11 Rudras, Shiva is only famous, na? We always talk about Shiva only. We don't talk about Mahadeva, Rutudvaja, and all those names are not familiar only. Some of us must be reading these names first time, very first time.
Yeah.
So only it is Shiva who is famous. That fame represents Lord Krishna.
But Rudra means Shiva.
Yeah, Rudra means Shiva,
because
Shiva
that Rudra. Okay. And Prabhuji, another doubt is that Brahmaji created all these different people through his different body and shadow and all that.
Yes.
He was having his wife Saraswati, so she didn't produce any children.
No. He did not marry with her. That time that walk. So initially followed after her, eventually gave up his body, but later on he married after much later. But even now also Brahmaji does not have any children. Directly, I mean, he had all the living entities are his own children only, but there are no children through Saraswati.
Okay. Then another doubt is regarding the Vedas, Prabhuji. We have heard, means we have learnt also during previous Bhagavatam classes, or probably in Bhagavad Gita, that there was only one Veda, Yajur Veda previously, and then Vyasa made it into 4.
Not like that. From the very beginning, the 4 sections of the Vedas are there. But in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapar Yuga, all the 4 Vedas are studied together as one branch or one knowledge item. But in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult for the people to assimilate all the 4 Vedas together. So Vyasdeva had divided the 4 Vedas into 4 different sections. And he gave to 4 different disciples.
So that, like Yajurveda to Vaishampayan, one to Jebini, like that. Yeah.
At least people can learn one Veda and follow it. And even people may not have that much capacity also. The disciples, the grand disciples of Brahma divide that one Veda into many sub-branches. At least one branch of one Veda can be learnt by a person and can be practiced that. So that was the intention. Because Kali Yuga, we are so incapable. That's why the divisions are there in the Kali Yuga. Otherwise, in previous 3 Yugas, they could remember all the 4 Vedas by heart without any problem.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Anyway, we also have the recording. I will share the recording with all of you. And for those who want to go through the details once again, you can.
And Prabhuji, that chart also you share with us.
Yeah, I will try to share.
Okay, thank you.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I just have one question.
Little louder.
Yeah, Prabhuji, can you hear me? Yeah, Prabhuji, you told Narad Muni is created from Brahmaji, right?
Yes, Brahma's lab.
Yeah, lab. but Narad Muni in his previous life was a son of maid servant. Then he becomes a Narada. So how
Hmm.
come I am not able to relate this to Narad Muni is directly coming from Brahma,
See,
and in yeah.
Narada, four Kumaras, and all the great sages,
Mhm.
they all live for the entire lifespan of Lord Brahma. Their lifespan is also 100 years of Lord Brahma.
Okay.
So just like Lord Brahma appeared from the lotus,
Okay.
similarly Narada appears from the lap of Brahma. It is
Okay.
a means, it is a via medium through which they are appearing. But
Okay.
in the previous day, in the previous kalpa, this Narada Muni, because of some reason, had to become a Gandharva and then had to become the son of a maid servant. That is because of some reason. Just like in
Okay.
the recent kalpa, also Narada Muni was cursed by Daksha
Okay.
not to stay at one place. Like that, something must have happened in the previous day.
Okay.
So Narada Muni first became Gandharva, then again he was cursed, then he became the son of a maid servant. Then by the association of Bhaktivedantas, he became Narada. So at the end of
Okay.
the day of previous day, then he entered into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Now, through the lap of Brahmaji, again coming into, he again waking up, and he will continue to perform the activities.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So I'm extremely sorry for keeping